Hey, so imagine you're with your family and you're in the car and you're in one town over from where you live right now. Went over to visit and you're in your car with your family and you're on the way back home, riding down the two-lane road, you go on all the time. Other cars are on there, not as many. You know there's been some construction going on, but no big deal. You're on the way back. You had some cars pass you and they went faster. But as you're coming along the road, you're coming over a section where you kind of hit the crest of a hill and there's a bridge there. And you look way across the other side of a bridge and there's a guy standing on the other side waving you on. Now you do see a car that's on down the road that's still going, but there's a guy there waving his arms, jumping up and down, and you're not sure what he's trying to do, but he's trying to warn you. He's trying to warn you to either stop the car or maybe speed up or change lanes, because what happens is when you come right over the crest of the hill, you actually stop your car and you look up and the bridge is out. But you see another car still going down the road. And what happened was they hit that bridge just right and they made it across. But there's also a gap in the road, and when you get out of your car and you look down, there's a whole bunch of cars and families down in the ravine below that didn't make it. I want to tell y'all what's going on. There's no scripting on this message. Y'all know, and this is a heartfelt message. You know, I'm in the banking industry and the mortgage industry. I'm in the real estate industry as an investor. There are things right this second that are happening. I may be 2 weeks late on some of this. There's things happening behind the scenes that's changing in the economy and the market that I want you to know about as my friends. Or maybe you're fine, but somebody you know needs to hear this message. And I'm telling you, I'm coming to this from somebody that survived barely from 2007, 8, 9, and 10 when the market completely fell apart. And I saw people lose everything. I'm talking lose everything. Right this minute, loan guidelines are changing. Uh, they're pulling back on what can be approved, and most people don't even know this. Like every single day, I'm having updates coming along right now. I've got people that were approved for homes 2 days ago that as of yesterday are not approved for loans right now. Um, I have folks that are not sure what to do. I had somebody call the other day, and I hope this is going to be a little bit longer message, but I hope this gets across to be aware of what's happening. I try to always have positive messages to go out there, but you need to prepare. If you've got a spare tire in your car and you've got life insurance, you need to hear this message. I had somebody call the other day. They owed, I don't know, $15,000 in credit card debt, and they had about $15,200 in their savings account. And they were nervous and said, should I take that money and go pay my credit cards completely off so that I'm debt free, because I'm not sure about my job and I'm not sure what's happening. And I said, absolutely not. Cash is king right now. I'd rather you have that debt and have that emergency money set aside in case something happens than the other way around. When the market fell apart last time, one of the things that I got a notice of on yesterday, home equity lines of credit. I don't do these right now, but listen to this. Back in '07, when the market was falling apart, housing prices were changing, there was a banking crisis going on, I sent out a message to my database and said, listen y'all, if you have a line of credit on your house, you have an open line of credit, let's say you've got $100,000 available on your line of credit, and you look at that as your safety net. You know, if in case something happens, say that something goes wrong, we can just go pull that line of credit out. We got access to that money, no problem. I sent a message out to my database years ago when this happened and told everybody, if you're counting on that money, you need to go withdraw 100% of that money that's available on your line of credit. Withdraw it and go deposit it in another bank. Yes, you're going to have to pay payments on it, on the interest. You definitely are. But if something happens and you need that money and it's not available, you're going to wish you did. Within 5 days, they shut lines of credit were completely shut down. And I had about 10 people the following week call me and say, Alan, I got your message. I did what you said. Thank God I'm self-employed. My wife lost her job, whatever. We went and withdrew that money. And within days, we got a notice in the mail that they were freezing our line of credit. I had about 10 other people that called me, and a couple of them were truly crying on the phone that didn't do it, and their line of credit was shut down. Loan approval is changing right now, and this is not just for buying a house, but I do want you to understand this. The real estate market is very, very busy right now, but for approvals, credit score limits are going up right now, what's required for you to actually get certain loans. Some loans you have to now are going to have 12 months of reserves of your payment set aside. You have to have a lot of cash reserves. Some loans are completely shutting down because they don't even want to do them anymore. Cash out refinances. If you're thinking about, I got a ton of equity in my house. Listen to this. Banks give you money when you don't need it. And I'm in the banking industry. But when you need money, you've lost your job, you've got a medical emergency, something happens, banks don't give you money then. So here's what I'm telling you. There are changes taking place in the economy right now. I pray to God that we're out of this and we're back to work and everything is good and it turns around in the next 30 days. But if it doesn't and it goes 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, you and I both know most people are not going to be able to weather that storm. And if you're thinking about, wow, I wonder if I have more people going from a 15-year loan back to a 30-year loan right now, you wouldn't believe it, because they're thinking, gosh, if I can drop my payment $400, maybe I should do that in case something happens. Other folks were thinking, maybe, if we're not sure about our job, maybe I should pull some of that equity out and put it in a very secure side account, because if you've been paying all this extra money to your house and you've got a ton of equity to your house, this happened last crash. I had somebody that called me and said, Alan, I lost my job. I've paid an extra $50,000 to my house the last 5 years to try to pay the balance down, but I can't make my mortgage payment right now. Do you think that I could do a cash out refi? I'm like, did you lose your job? I said, yeah. Well, you can't get a loan. Says, but I've been paying all that extra money. They don't care. There are folks that try to get forbearances. They haven't been approved yet. There's all these variables out there right now. So I'm just telling you, if you have not planned or prepared, what if 3 months from now, 4 months from now, or what if we lost our job? And I'm just telling you, if you've thought about, I wonder if I should do a cash out refi, I wonder if I should pull some money out to have an emergency fund or maybe an opportunity fund sitting there, you need to do it sooner than later, because like several banks in the last 2 days, they're not even doing cash out refinances anymore. They've shut them down. Another one of the banks have pulled back the amount they'll let you get. Will they go completely away? I don't know. Now, your bank you personally work with, they may be fine today, but tomorrow they may not. So I just want you to know there's some things happening behind the scenes. If you've got a line of credit and there's a balance on it or available limit on it, and you're thinking, wow, I may need it, I'm telling you, and somebody's going to get mad at me for saying this, I know, I would withdraw that money and put it in another bank. So you've got an emergency fund. You can always put it back later if everything turns out in a couple of months. It's totally fine. If you're thinking about doing a cash out refi, if you want to do renovations, whatever, that's totally cool. But if you're thinking about doing it for emergency or protection plan, do it sooner than later, because if you call me in 2 weeks or call whoever you're working with, it may not be available anymore. If you've got a lot of cash available and you've got some debt, I'm just telling you, I would not go pay anything extra down or off right now. At this exact moment, be smart, be conservative, plan forward. I don't know where this is going to go right now. Somebody asked the other day, where's my time? 33% of my time, I'm doing purchases. 33% of my time, I'm doing refinances. The other 33% of the time, I'm being a counselor. I'm being somebody's friend. I'm talking through strategies of how they can survive, because the husband and wife both lost their job and they made too much money to get any benefit or any protection or any stimulus check. But how do they survive? I've got folks that I had a doctor that a dentist I was doing a loan for. They had to let their employees go during this time. Guess what? They can't get a loan right now. I can't refinance them. Some of them, they couldn't buy their house. Some refinances, because they've changed guidelines in process, where we were going to go in and refinance, pay a bunch of debt off, drop payments down, they can't qualify anymore. So the two things about having money available in an emergency fund, one is for It's an emergency fund in case you need cash available. But at the same time, the positive side, you need an opportunity fund, because looking back when the market fell apart last time, there were folks that literally were like deer in headlights. They didn't know what to do. They were freaked out. They stopped producing. They stopped working. They stopped fighting and going forward, and they went under. There were other folks that I knew that said, you know what, when there's blood in the streets, that's when we make our money. And there's a book about that. When there's blood in the street, that's when we make our money. And that's when they turned the gas on and said, I got to get creative. I've got to do something different. Maybe I start another business. Maybe I work on the weekends, whatever. But they're the ones that, when the market went down, they actually came out on the other side better, stronger, faster, because they improved during that process. So, y'all, this message is totally from the heart. It has not, I'm in the industry as a mortgage lender, but I want you to know what's going on behind the scenes. If you've got any questions on this, you may need to do a refinance right now. You may not. You may have already done that. But if you're thinking about what should I do, planning, once again, I pray to God we come out of this. But if you're not sure, have any questions, you want to bounce some ideas by, please feel free to reach out. Please be patient with me if I or somebody on my team can't get back with you right away, because we're really busy serving as many people as we possibly can right now. So anyhow, pray for safety for you and your family and all of your friends. We are going to come out of this stronger, better, faster. Great blessings are coming from the adversity. But I do have to send this out, and I probably should have done this 2 weeks ago, because I got several notices this morning of changes. I'm like, oh gosh, I've got to do this now. So anyway, appreciate you guys. I'm Alan Christian, your friend, your neighbor, and your personal lender. If I can help you, have any thoughts, please give me feedback. Thanks again.